Stepdad Naswalt here, and we're going to help you write some emotionally transient music, whatever that means. A frustration that I had for years was just not finding that music that I wanted to play. Truly, having an instrument, something to actually play with, is going to help the time just go by a whole lot faster while you're finding that inspiration and that right chord to start with. Maybe even while you're figuring out some basic stuff like the key that the song's in. We're not going to get super heavy into music theory because I know that's a huge turnoff for some of you, but having something physical to hold, it does dividends. But all that does nothing if you don't have inspiration. What is it that you want to make? Rip off an artist. Some of my top tracks to go to would be Laura Les, The Walls Are Closing In, an unreleased track from one of the members of 100 gecs. Even, let's say, anything from Bill Murray's 400-pound back squat. Think of those albums that you can just name off and rattle off, or those songs that always get you pumped. Anything from Dance Gavin Dance, especially Man of the Year, is a fantastic song that I'm always trying to rip off and figure out exactly how they made it work. Now, it's okay to do that. These are musicians that have, more than likely, years ahead of experience from you as a starting musician. Take from their plate what they have to offer. Figure out how you can incorporate it and make it your own, or learn. Just straight up rip them off. Figure out what they're doing. It's a learning experience. It's music. That shouldn't be just complete. You can't do that. That's theirs. Unless, of course, you publish it and monetize it. Yeah. So, inspiration. Get something you can play with and get some good sounds. An Audiotool, that's simple. You already know the sounds you're used to using. Go to that load preset and have a ball. Right now, we are starting off with some presets that I think sound pretty good. My old favorite, Tone Matrix. We got some pretty good sounds right there with just some reverb and distortion, a little bit of chorus. Pulversatizer, really washed out sound. This is really high up, but a really just almost Sophie sounding 808. And a drum loop, you know, something I wanted to craft up to get us a place to start. It's simple as that. Drums I find to be just the easiest for me to make, so typically that ends up being my ground level. I have made something rhythmic, and now I'm going to make something harmonic to go with it, where I have to think a little bit heavier. It might be backwards for you. You might start off with your riff and then just go from there. I have a line that I've come up with that's been inspired by the Laura Les Walls Are Closing In song. Believe it's a C-sharp major. I'm not going to worry too much about theory right now, but I know it has this kind of tressia rhythm. I can put a name to it, but I can really simply describe it to you whenever we look at the grid right here. We're going to take our notes, and I'm not going to start with the right notes quite yet. We're just going to make them 3/8 notes and make them all go back to back. Let's check and make sure that shouldn't be 3/16 and be even shorter. Yeah, I want to double time that, so let's go in and make those even tinier. There we are. So, I don't want to have the bass line taking a ton of attention on this. Matter of fact, since I want to make something really emotional and kind of emo sounding, typically you have 2-chord ramps, extremely simple chord progressions that are just focusing on the coolness of the chord that you're using, that dissonant quality that just gives it a kind of, torn and pained sound. So I'm going to walk down from a B, from that C sharp, and I'm going to go to an A, and then walk back up to a B. I mean, really, it's just going to be basically 2 chords that are writing that out, with just this B giving it some transition time. Move it down. There we go. And actually make our 808 like, a bass. And what you'll notice from that A to that C sharp, well, that's actually the makings of an A major right there. Even though we're going to make this sound torn and really emotional, the basics of music theory, when you have your 1 to your 5 or even your 1 to your major third, really simple intervals are always going to play to your advantage. So don't overcomplicate it. Look at how simple this bass line is. I'm going to just duplicate this track right here down to our sub, just to make sure we get some grit on it. That's more of a sound design thing right there. But now I'm going to look at what we're doing with our chords. Now that I have a bass line, I have an understanding of where I want to go from these bass notes. And typically, it's just up, building from them. So let's do a chord progression that's not dun dun dun, quite slamming down like that, but still staying in the same range. And I'm probably going to do the same thing where I'm moving down over time. 2 chords, and then let's say like this and this should be like the transitional periods, and this is like a lower chord right here. So this is just an exact copy of our bass line with simpler rhythm because it's just the chords. I don't want to have this be super busy. Whenever we get to our crazy emotional arp, that's where we want to have all the attention go to. So this is just giving us some tonal qualities here. So let's see. Let's take some time to just listen to our chords with nothing else and see what intervals sound good with it. Let's see what sounds good with that A. And probably. I mean, let's make it 3 notes, just so it's a chord. Gonna go to the A, G sharp, maybe. Let's just start making decisions just so we're moving, right? Ooh. And that's gonna be the exact same chord each time. I don't know. I like that. Let's see how it sounds with our bass line. Now, if you want to make something sound emotional and sound tense, you have notes that are really close together. Whether that's spread out by an octave to make them a little bit more resonant, or they're right smack dab next to each other, that's dissonance, the closer that they are. At least that's most of the spicy dissonance that you're going to end up finding. So I'm going to actually take some of these notes here, and I'm just going to move them down a whole entire octave. Let's see what's happening. So what's interesting is with us moving down, we actually ended up with the exact same chord. So let's give us a little bit more interest here. Let's make this G sharp. I don't necessarily like that. Let's move this F sharp. Take this and then make him someone else. And we can keep on workshopping that. And matter of fact, I will. But we're going to move on ahead. We have a good idea of some of the notes that we're choosing from. I'm okay with this chord progression too. feel like I can make it a little bit more spicy, but we're going to get some good movement out of our tone matrix here, which is just going to be our full-on arp. So what you could do is extremely simple. You could literally just take these notes in order, move up and down on them, and just have where it's going to be like, say that's starting right there at our E4. So we're going to go our E4 and then move down to our C sharp and then down to our A. And then that could be 2 octaves and you just repeat it over and over again. If it sounds good, it sounds good. I've been doing this for years now in electronic music, so why broke it if it's not broken? Yeah, that's not going to stand out if that's too low, is it? That's the exact same space that our chords are occupying. So let's take... Let me make sure you can actually hear that. Let's just put these two together. So we want to have this pretty high up. And let's go and start from our B. Yeah. Start from a slightly lower B, and then we're going to walk our way up. I'm just choosing notes. Nothing crazy about it. Let's make it faster, too. Yeah, that's like way too slow, right? Let's go higher. I think it'd sound better. Lower? Play it. And then I feel like something really high, like a highest note. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Should we just repeat it right there? This is the nice thing about an ARP. You can copy and paste all the time. And then let's do something, the very least lower with those 2 starting notes. We'll start to move some stuff around too. So let's make these start at the A. Yeah, it's a little too loopy. Let's get that A to start it and just figure out a new progression, right? So this is my favorite. Anytime that you have a leading tone, you'll have something that just pairs off real nice with it. So take a listen. I've put that in all of my songs, that exact little movement right there. And we'll do something slightly different at the end of it. Now that we have, and I hope that this is obvious, I'm just remembering the notes that we had available when we were scouting this out. So altogether, 1, 2, 3, 4 that we've moved from this chord progression. And I've scattered them out all over the place, and I've just kind of used my ears to intuit some of the different ones. Like, for instance, I found my leading tone right there, so I can assume that this is probably an A major, which would also be C... No, hold up, move down. Like F sharp minor, possibly. Doesn't really matter too crazy much, but I have some notes to pick from, and I have some notes that I'm really enjoying in this. everything come together. And it's okay that that ARP is looping right there in the middle, because our bass line is now giving us completely different harmonic context, dropping down to the A right there. With the drums. I really like how that feels. There is something about whenever you take a movement on a guitar. I don't know what it is. That's the notes we're playing. And you're just moving down. It's just 2 frets every single time. That riff is present in everything. Everything emo. Everything metalcore, everything that's real emotional, like post-hardcore. It's always right there. Just that simple movement. Take a fret anywhere. It just always works. And that's essentially what we're doing here. And just looping crap over it. And this, I can't describe that music theory-wise. Matter of fact, I might even take and have us move down to that B a little bit earlier, right? So there we go. You can now write something pretty emotionally transient by ripping off other artists, finding a fun way to play with it and enjoy the music that you're making, and then by simply going in and finding the notes that you want through that riff. Put them into action, take some time to play with them, and don't be afraid of looping them around and being a little bit lazy in the right places. You can make your bass line do a whole lot of work. You can make your chords imply a lot of movement. And your ARP, you can make sing when you have everything else supporting it. I hope that this is a great help. I want to see everybody put some stuff into action. For you, this is Naswalt. I don't know how you're going to edit that, Ralph, but good luck.
Hi, this is Sandbergen, or Snatbergen, or Snatbergen. In this coming video, I will show you how to remove bad words from your video using Premiere Pro. Enjoy!